Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at Brains Family. Actually, that's not the title of the game, although with this cover you would think that it is. This is actually the name of the series that Pegasus Spiele is putting out, and the name of the game is right down here. It's called Burgen Drachen, which I believe means castles and dragons. And so basically this is a real-time tile-laying game, trying to solve the adventure puzzle the quickest and score a medal. So let's get down to the table. I'll show you how it works, and we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments. So here I have a 4-player game of castles and dragons set up for you. And basically what you do here is you're going to flip over one of these cards each round, and this card is going to show you the layout that everybody needs to construct on their specific player boards. And then once everybody has their boards set up the way that the adventure card is formatted, then you can begin that round of the game. Now, the whole point of the game is to score 3 medals, and the way you get a medal is by being the first person to complete this puzzle, or adventure, rather. So let me show you what we're doing here. Now, in order for you to complete this adventure puzzle, you have to make sure that your knight, by roads, can connect to all of the castles that are on the board. And if you're able to do that first in the first round, you'll be able to gain a medal. But once you have a medal, now you have to connect to at least one dragon on the board. So when you get your second medal, you have to connect to all of the castles and both dragons in order to get your third medal and thus win the game. Now, everybody is working on this simultaneously, so it is a real-time game, and the first person to complete this particular adventure is the only one that will gain a medal for that round. Everybody has the same tiles available to them, so you simply have to figure out, in the fastest way possible, how to get your knight to all of the different castles. As you can see here, completing a route simply means that you have connected all of the roads in kind of a Carcassonne type style where the roads have to match. Additionally, you can't have any roads that lead into an empty square, so you do have to make sure that that's important. Now, I didn't have to connect to this dragon down here, but by using this tile, it left me open to an open square here. And you can't have that to finish the thing, so I went ahead and did this, and now I'm done with my adventure. If I had been the first one to do that, I now have completed this. But the things to keep track of are the facts that you cannot have a road that leads into an open area. You cannot have a road that leads into an area that doesn't have a road. Furthermore, the roads have to match if they do meet up. So there's that. It's really a simple game, and that's pretty much how it works. First person to get 3 medals is the winner. So that's about that for castles and dragons. Now, I have to say that I'm usually not a fan of these real-time games where you're having to speed through something at the same time that everybody else is speeding through things. And there are definitely going to be people, I think, that are going to be better at this game than other people. And so that's just the way that the nature of those kinds of games are, and that's usually why I don't really care for them, because some people are just naturally going to be better at them than others. There's nothing left to chance, no swing of luck or anything like that. People are just simply going to be able to put together these puzzles faster than everybody else. Usually not a big fan of those, and especially if they're heavier type games. But this one is very, very light. It's very, very, just very quick. So I don't mind it as much now. I think part of the reason for that is the fact that it is leveled towards family weight games, and that's really what this is, and that's what this whole series is about. Okay, so my first pro of the game is that it is a good looking game for what it is. Everybody has their own board, and the boards are very nice, durable cardstock. They're not chintzy or flimsy or anything like that. I like the Knight meeples. They have good components. The art is neat, although it's not ground-shakingly good, but it's still good. It's still good in that it looks good on the table. But you get the idea, right? It looks good. And for a family weight game, in order to get sometimes those younger kids into the game, it has to look good on the table. If it looks boring, the kids are going to be bored. But if it pops and if it's colorful, that excites their minds and it gets them ready to play the game. Second pro of the game is simply that it's easy. Easy to teach. There is literally 1 page of rules, maybe 1.5 pages of rules, but they could have fit it into one with fewer words that would have been just fine. So it's easy to teach. It's easy to play. Some people, again, like I said earlier, will just naturally be better at it. They're spatial thinkers and they'll be able to make all those connections a lot faster than other people. But with that having been said, it's so quick, it's so light, that I don't mind that at all. I think it's a great little spatial organization game, and I think that's very good. Now, my third pro of the game is almost, well, it's a pro of the game, definitely, but it's kind of a step away from the physical aspect of the game, and it's more, it kind of auto-corrects itself, because the first level, so to speak, just having to connect your knight to all the different castles, that's the easiest one. And then when you have to connect to one of your dragons, that's a little bit harder and it's a little bit more tricky to do that. So there is almost a built-in catch-up mechanism in the game where if you're still stuck on connecting your castles, that's easier than what this next person is doing. So you'll probably be able to finish yours before the other person finishes theirs that's ahead. So I like that because it kind of auto-corrects the difficulties that are there. I like how each level is more difficult than the last, which means that if somebody shoots ahead and is able to get to that third level really fast, well, they're going to have to figure out a lot of stuff. Now, the likelihood of them figuring it out, well, that's probably pretty good first, and they have a better chance at winning, but the other people who are kind of behind aren't out of it, and that's a great autocorrect that the game has, or the catch-up mechanism that it has, because when you're trying to figure out hard level 3, it's a lot harder than level 1 or level 2, so I like that about the game. Now, my first con of the game is the fact that they have really kind of branded this with the series name and not the name of the game. I really dislike the box cover and how they have organized everything. I know they're trying to showcase the line of games that they're doing, but it really makes it more difficult, I guess, to figure out what the name of the game is. Everybody I've showed this box to, they've like, oh wow, Brains Family. What kind of game is that? I'm like, no, it's not Brains Family. It's actually called Burgen Drachen, or Castles and Dragons. So I do not like that about the game. I think that is a very big mistake. And my second con of the game is one that I've already kind of mentioned, and I actually said I'm giving it a pass to, but I do have to mention it as a con of the game, and that is simply people are going to be better at this than other people, and they're going to naturally win at this than other people. Now, it's true that your brain can kind of lock up, and you might not be able to think as quickly as you would normally do. Some people are simply going to be better at this game than other people, and so that's unfortunate. Now, it does get the brain juices flowing, and that's what it's good for playing this with kids and that type of thing, because it gets them to think analytically, it gets them to think spatially and organizationally, and so I like that. It's good, but some people are going to be better at it than others. So you do have to be careful because you don't want somebody to feel like they're completely out of the race. You want to give them the opportunity. You want them to have the feeling that they can compete. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful with that, and just realize that if you have somebody in your group that gets discouraged a little bit easier, maybe this isn't the game for them, especially if they're not as analytical of a thinker or as quick of a thinker as everybody else. So that's that. Again, it's a minor con because I've already kind of given it a pass, but it is there. So I just wanted to reiterate that for those of you who might care about that. So all in all, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's a great family weight game for this kind of spatial organization, analytical thinking type of thing. It's great for the little ones to be able to start jumping into stuff like this, and I think it's a good stepping in point for those kinds of people. Between gamers, I have played this between gamers, and it worked fine. Had people saying that it was great fun, and they were taking pictures of it and taking pictures of the name, making sure they got that so they could try to find it and order it for themselves. So that is it. 7 out of 10 for Castles and Dragons from the Brains family series of games, Reiner Knizia and Pegasus Spiele. Thanks for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.